This video is a part of a series of WordWorks resources on the practice of spelling out word structure. Spelling out is a way for teachers to make explicit the underlying graphemic and morphemic structure of written words they encounter in any context. In this session, the main focus is graphemes, but morphemes are addressed as well. I want to draw your attention to the fact that I use the practice of spelling out word structure to teach and assess word knowledge. In this video, you will see me spell out word structure to draw attention to the written graphemes and morphemes in the words we study, and you will also see me have participants spell out words so that I can assess their recognition of these linguistic structures in words. The video that follows is from an online consultancy I'm doing with a school in Dubai. For this session with grade 2 teachers, I wanted to introduce the practice of spelling out word structure by showing how I use it to respond to a question I received from a grade 1 teacher at another school. That teacher was asking for help with the question from her student, why is there an H in school? We don't hear it. Let's see how it goes.
Who there could be brave and spell the word school for me?
S-C-H-O-O-L.
Oh, that is so good. You said, you see now, see how the spelling out was an assessment tool for me. I didn't know if you knew how to do that. Yeah, I'll tell you what I was expecting. Because I've signaled by saying CH before, by naming that digraph, I expected, I hoped that I would hear a CH, but I wasn't sure. But I didn't really expect to hear the double O, which tells me that you've studied this stuff. There's no way you would have said double O there unless you had been working on the spelling out.
I have to pause here to point out that I had no right to make this definitive statement about the teacher spelling out school with a double O. She may have said it purposely to indicate word structure knowledge, as I assumed at the time, or this might just be how she announces the same letter twice in a row in any part of the word, regardless of word structure. I should have used additional spelling out tasks to properly assess her use of the word double. For example, I could have asked her to spell out the results for word sums for helpfully and spelling. If she spelled out helpfully, HELPFULLY, and spelling SPELLING, I would have some reasonable evidence that she uses the term double to indicate spelling structure as I originally assumed. If she said double L for each word, I would have to reject that initial assumption. Videos are good tools for catching mistakes in our teaching so that we can refine our practice. Back to the lesson.
I use this with you the way I want you to use it with kids. Because what would a kid normally spell? This kid who asked this question, I would be willing to bet would say SCHOOL. And if the kid says that, I have a good assessment. My assessment is this kid is thinking in single letters and doesn't know about spelling out yet. Oh, I guess I'll teach them about that. Now, if I was doing this as a class, I might build a chart like this to help bring to the surface all the stuff I'm talking about. So we have and I can also introduce terms that I want the kids to become familiar with. I'm not asking them yet to produce these words if this is at the beginning, but why not identify the words I'm going to start talking about with the representations? So we're talking about the base word school, and the base word school is spelled with a number of graphemes. How many graphemes are in the word school?
4.
Do you see what these signals, these angle brackets have done for us just now? I could ask that question to a grade 1 class. And if I said, this is the word graphemes, they don't have to be able to read it, but I can point to it. I can say, the base word school has a number of graphemes. How many graphemes do you see? The angle brackets tell them there's 4. And now they're thinking in graphemes, not in letters. How many letters does school have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It has 6 letters, but only 4 graphemes. I'm already helping the kids see how words are built. Now, phonemes, do you see anything in the word phonemes that tells you what they might be? Graphemes has graph in it because they're about writing remark. What do you think phonemes are about? Phone is actually a word, it's a base word for sound, like talking on a telephone, right? If I talk to you on a telephone, you can hear sound from far away. Like a telescope is for seeing far away, a telephone is for hearing far away. That's a conversation I can have with grade ones right now. And I'm using morphology. I didn't make word sums and stuff, but they know the word phone. And now I'm giving them an introduction to these terms that a lot of teachers don't know. And they certainly don't know that they can introduce them to kids. But if we start to do them and use them, it makes our life much easier. Now, I have these symbols are different than those. They don't have angle brackets, there's these slash brackets. Do you know what this represents? This S with looking thing with the slash brackets? This is the letter S. What is this? It's the sound, it's a phoneme. This is the gravity. So this is a, everybody say that. Okay, so the word school, the first phoneme, the initial phoneme is S. How do we write S in school?
S.
With the letter S. Okay, what's the final phoneme? The final phoneme is here. Can you tell me what that final phoneme is? Oh, say school. Where do you feel your tongue at the end? Do you feel it at the end?
Yeah.
The tip of your tongue is touching the top of your mouth behind your teeth, right? School. The ul, that's the phoneme ul. How do we write ul in school? With the grapheme L, don't we? Now you see, I get to say the word grapheme now because I've introduced it. They know that this is the letter L, but now I'm using the word grapheme. Okay, so we know the first part we say S, and we write this with an S. Now say school again. What do you feel right after the S in school? Just do the part you feel after S. So that is the phoneme K. How are we writing K in school? With a CH. Say that nice and fast. CH. The CH is a way of writing school. So I'm acting like you're the kid who asked the question. You asked me, why is there an H in school? But that turns out not to be the right question, because it's not that there's an H in school. There's a CH. And the CH is a team that works together. And you know what? When we call it when it's a team of letters, if it's two letters, we call it a digraph. Say that, digraph. Okay, and we're going to learn about trigraphs later. Any idea how many letters trigraphs would be in a team?
3.
Because tricycle. You see how I can introduce this language at a grade 1 or 2 level. It's not that they are able to produce this language immediately, but if I introduce it and I have it on charts on the wall and I start using it in my everyday language, this is like learning any new language. One thing I want to caution you on, when people are often very nervous about this new vocabulary for young kids. We are not nervous about teaching kids new vocabulary when it's vocabulary that we know. That's our job. We think it's our job to teach them about words like photosynthesis or any vocabulary that we are used to teaching kids when we know it. There's no reason to think that these terms are too advanced for kids just because they might be new to us. So that's one of my little pet things of that the newness of a concept to us has nothing to do with the newness to the kid. So we can't make the argument that this is too tough for kids because they haven't been taught it before. Well, if you see what I mean. Okay, and now say school.
School.
Now say it without the s.
Cool.
Now say cool without the k.
Cool.
And ul without the ul at the end. Ooh. So this is an oo. Okay, it looks like the letter U, but it's not. It's just like this. It looks like the S. It's not an S. It's a S. This is a phoneme K. This is a phoneme U, and this is a phoneme O. How did we write U in school?
Double O.
With a double O. Can you think of any other words with a double? You know what we could do? We could make a little chart with double O's and see if we can find other U. Can you think of anything off the top of your head that has a double O for U? School, fool, right? There's one. We could find some others. Okay, so we now know how we write school. Now, here's what I want to do is instead of just working on school, Remember, what is my first big idea that we're studying? That letters often work in teams. I get to get rid of this soon and say graphemes, digraphs or trigraphs. We're almost going to be able to get off of the kind of that language into the real language. But that's my purpose, not the word school. School was just a jumping off point. So, if I was in grade 2, I'd say, who can tell me what that word is? And someone would probably say teach. Okay, can you spell teach for me? Who's going to be brave and spell teach?
T-E-A-C-H.
Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so from, now you assess Marty. What graphemes did she tell you she saw in teach? What was the first grapheme that Marty saw?
Using.
Okay, what was the second grapheme?
Yeah.
And third?
Yeah.
How many digraphs in teach? How many single letter graphemes? You see how I can, would those questions be too hard for your grade 2 students? You see how you have these words on those papers.
Okay, well, I'm not going to ask you to watch while the teachers work together to work through the spelling out of this word structure of these words, but that's what they did. And then after a little bit of time, we came back together, and this time as we did this, we decided we could organize their answers, the representation of their answers, into a chart like this. When we got down to words like teacher that are multimorphemic, we were able to look at how we actually signal the morphological structure by larger pauses between morphemes, and we made a little word sum here. Now, what I want to do now is show you how you can get help with this process more on your own. If you go to our website, wordworkskingston.com, and you slide down a little bit, you'll see a link to a free new resource spelling out word structure. If you click on that, you're going to get to this page. It starts with a video of a grade 1 student spelling out the word wonderfully. And if you slide down, there's more information and videos and such. And what eventually I want you to get to is this link for a PDF of all the conventions for spelling out. So there's a little bit of a description of this process, but the main thing is the actual laying out of the conventions for spelling out the word structure of any complex word, including all the suffixing changes. And what you can do with that right away is practice using that tool to help you spell out the words in this list of words that I've presented here. And once you think you've done that and you're confident with you've done the best that you can, if you click on this button, it will take you to the second page. And here I've identified how you would spell those words out, so you can assess your own learning. Now, there's more resources and content here that I would recommend, and so hopefully you can take a shot at this on your own. And the other thing that I'm hoping this video has done is given you a sense of the kind of online PD I do with schools, and that can happen with Skype, so that we can do this anywhere in the world. Thanks.